Good morning, CSU. Good morning, Columbus, Georgia. Welcome to CSU Sports Talk. I'm your host, Derek Bailey, broadcasting from the beautiful In-Pace Radio and TV Broadcasting Center in downtown Columbus. I'm joined here by my lovely co-host, Shawtil Bradford, and my multi-talented, multi-skilled Iron Man gold medalist producer, Matthew Gay. How you guys doing this morning?
Doing good. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Matt, how you doing?
I'm very good. I like the intro. I appreciate that.
Okay.
He had a little extra, didn't he?
Well, we're coming back from spring break, guys. You got to be energetic. How was you guys' spring break?
Mine was wonderful. I mean, I'm now a Peach Belt Conference champion.
Okay. Matt, what about you? You had a little different spring break.
A little bit. I capped it off, and like her, I am a not theoretical champion, but I am a Spartan race finisher. I got a medal. I finished the Spartan race up in Atlanta. It's a hardcore 5K with obstacles, barbed wire, electricity, fire, smoke, the whole nine.
Okay.
What'd you do on your spring break,
Well,
host?
I don't like to brag.
He was on the couch.
There was a couch potato award ceremony for the kid for the most potato chips, beers, and chips eaten during a weekend. Yeah, that's right. Your boy won. I did not move for 2 whole days. That's right. I sure did.
I mean, but does that make you the biggest loser?
It does.
Oh.
It does.
I don't know if I would be proud of that.
I am. That's all that matters. Now, you guys know we're in March, and one of the biggest things that happens in March is March Madness. I'm a basketball aficionado. I love the game of round ball. Been watching it since I came out the womb. But we're not going to talk about big time Division I NCAA 64 brackets. We're going to talk about an NCAA tournament that happened here in Columbus, Georgia, at CSU at our own Lumpkin Center.
But just make it sound small, don't you?
I'm not, because there was some great basketball played here at the Peach Belt tournament.
All right. Make it sound a little bigger than that.
We had 2 tournaments. Both the men's and the women's played consecutively right next to each other, and both of our CSU teams participated in this tournament.
Boys, I guess you can kind of say they participated, but I don't know about all that games. It was just a game, one and done,
And let's actually premise it correctly. The girls earned their way into the tournament. The boys team theoretically earned their way into the tournament. It wasn't because it was hosted here at Columbus State, but how would you phrase it, Mr. Derek? How did they get in?
They slid through the back door. A nickel fell in the crack, unlocked the door. They went through the stairs, climbed through the attic. What I mean to say is that they actually locked up the number 5 spot. So they actually weren't going to be in the tournament. The number 2 spot was locked up by Young Harris, a new team to the conference, ineligible for tournament play. Because Young Harris was so good, they couldn't play. Columbus State then got moved up into the bracket, and they got the 4th place seed, having to play in the first round USC Aiken, 3-time regular season champ, 2-time conference champ.
And nationally ranked.
Nationally ranked USC Aiken.
But they only lost. They only lost by 5, guys.
Only lost by 5. It was a great game. I actually watched it, and it was actually, I'm going to be honest with you guys, wire-to-wire action, point being scored. 3 or 4 plays go down differently at the end of the game, and Columbus State could have won.
I mean, and it's amazing that they only lost by 5 and only shot 11% from the 3 and only 54% from the free throw line. I mean, they only lost by 5, guys. That's kind of a little, I don't know. Do you look at Columbus and say, well, that's great for you, or do you look at Aiken and say, well, that was horrible for you?
It's a tie between, because the CSU did beat them earlier in the regular season, right? So it was just a good matchup for those 2 teams, really.
Well, what I want to say is that, Aiken went on to win every game. They won on the championship, and they're going to be going to nationals. So with the number 1 seed hosting the first round of the national tournament in Aiken, South Carolina. And so what it looks like to me is that Columbus State is a very good team that can play up to par when challenged. They beat earlier in the year Montevallo, nationally ranked team that actually went to the championship Peach Belt game. So to me, it looks like Columbus State's a very good team that just doesn't play up to par the majority of nights.
Yeah. They pick the nights that they want to play good and the nights that they want to go 11% from the 3-point line. I mean, that's a big thing to me. I don't know. Is it just me, or is that just a horrible stat?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. But one thing I do want to bring up, I want to highlight some good key points of that game. Kenny Funderburk, leading scorer of the team, went for 21 points and 5 rebounds. And then Shane Hayward, leading rebounder of the team, actually went for 17 points and 9 rebounds. D'Angelo Kirkland, starting center, went for 10 and 9. And RJ Sessions, who's the second leading scorer of the game, he actually had a really tough night from the field. But what I'm saying, though, is that 4 of their best players, 2 scorers and 2 rebounders, will all be returning next year.
That's a good thing for Columbus State, just because that builds on their chemistry from this year to hopefully building next year and adding more into their repertoire.
I still have my concerns. Like I said, this season was kind of up and down, and like you guys said, their best games were against the best teams. So when they're playing a ranked team or a top team, they bring their A game out. But every other game against the worst of the Peach Belt and the worst of other conferences and divisions, they didn't step their game up. And so you're bringing back 4 out of those 5 players that did the same thing. So how am I supposed to not think that it's not going to be the same story next season?
Well, I think that'll go down with coaching, because if it was a real coach, a coach would make sure that they have a new mentality next year, and they say, okay, we're not just going to play for ranked teams, but we're going to play every night that we touch the floor. So I put that on the coach, and then maybe next year they'll actually have leadership. I think they were suffering from senior leadership, as Derek might say. They don't have it this year, and they need a new point guard. I mean, Jamad Salim, this year he was suffering from a lot of injuries, and he never could come back fully. So I think maybe if they work on him being healthy and getting a strong point guard and a backup point, maybe that can lead them to something greater and a more consistent play, rather than just playing against ranked teams and not every team when they touch on the floor.
She's actually Sha actually touched on a couple of different points that I think are very important. One being coaching. You said the teams only played well against the best team. That's true. So I feel like a coach, a top-tier coach, has got to be able to motivate his guys to play consistently well against all teams. That's one thing I definitely agree on. 2, Jamad Salim, starting point guard, returning from last year, he suffered broken hands on both hands during the season. So the majority of the season, they actually play without a floor general, which I feel like is huge, because outside of Kenny Funderburk, leading scorer of the team, they have no one on that team that can create their own shot one-on-one. And so if you don't have a point guard helping to speed up your offense, getting guys easy shots that are not quote-unquote scorers, it's tough for guys to get buckets. But the number one thing for me, and I guess it's because I'm an old school kind of guy when it comes to basketball, is senior leadership. This year they only had 2 seniors, Brandon Dawson and Nick Turner. And so when you've only got 2 seniors and neither one of them were leaders on the floor because they didn't get much playing time, especially down the stretch, you don't have guys that know what they're doing, that are used to this scenario. The girls won the championship. We got our tournament MVP right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You guys have effectively 4 seniors. You?
3.
Well, Carrie's been around.
Yeah, Carrie's been there for 4 years, but she redshirted last year. So technically, we have a lot of leadership. That four seniors, like you would say. Carrie's just a junior on the court. But me, Aisha, Carrie, and Tay Smith, we've been there the whole season. And, I mean, if the boys had what we had, they might have been a little bit better, like you say. I mean, hey.
Well, just to go ahead and wrap it up on the guys' side, they've got 4 teams from the Peach Belt going to the national tournament. We've already mentioned USC Aiken, tournament champions, number 1 seed. GRU, Georgia Regent University, formerly known as Augusta State, for those who not familiar with the GRU name. Montevallo, as Matt likes to call them, Montevallo. And Georgia Southwestern Hurricanes. They will be playing this weekend, March 15th and 16th, and Montevallo and Augusta will actually be in a regional bracket playing in Aiken. Now, flipping it over to the girls' side, we have 4 teams from the girls' bracket in the Peach Belt that will be playing the national tournament schedule. 1, Clayton State. 2, Armstrong Atlantic. And 3, North Georgia. And 4, our very own CSU Cougars, Columbus State.
Hey, I mean, we got to go in there hard. It's a big thing for us. I mean, we haven't made it to the NCAA tournament since 2007. That was the last time we made it to NCAA, and the last time that we won a Peach Belt Conference championship was 2001. So this is big for the school and the program. I mean, this is just a big thing for us just because it hasn't happened in so long. And then for Coach Norton, this is like his first one as head coach.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, for this program and for us to be so young, ranked number 5 preseason polls, I mean, no one expected us to come this far.
Oh, well, okay. Touching on that point, no one expects you guys to come this far. I'm just going to go ahead and be honest with you. Second day of the tournament, you guys took on Clayton State. Huge rivalry game. Everybody knows CSU versus CSU. These 2 teams don't like each other. Not to mention Clayton State is historically always good. You guys were a big underdog in that game. You guys came out winning.
I mean, we came out banging because we knew it was going to be a tough game. We've played them like this is the 3rd time this season. So, you know, when you play somebody for 3 times, you know their weaknesses, you know their strengths, you know who's going to be their go-to person. And you just have to find a way to stop something and do something better than the last game. And I think a big thing for us, Tay Smith she's been awesome. The last game in the season, she scored 32 on Clayton State. And then this game, she scored 24. I mean, that was a key matchup for us just because they couldn't guard her. And she knows how to make the shots when they count.
Okay. But you know what? Now, that was probably, as far as the large media, as far as the Peach Belt, that was the game to watch. That was the one everybody wanted to see. But earlier in the tournament, you guys played Flagler, who you guys beat. But later on in that game, you guys suffered some injuries to some reserves that could have hurt you guys down the stretch. I just wanted to ask you to talk about that. You guys got 2 girls go out with, what, a head injury?
Yes. The first one was Kristen Kinderview. I think it was maybe like 3 minutes left on the clock. And she went up for a ball fake on the 3-point line. She did a ball fake, and the girl actually flew across her head and kicked her in the head. And they both went into the stands. The other girl from Flagler actually got up. But Kristen, this happened to be a big kick to the head, and this is her 3rd concussion in a year and a half. So for her, that was it. I mean, nobody wants to make this their last game to be like that, especially when we go so far in the tournament. But hey, when you get that many concussions, you can't keep playing.
Matt, did you play with these girls? With these girls at the Ironman competition this weekend? Do you know these girls?
No, there were some tough girls out there. But yeah, I remember when the WA got started, everyone was like, oh, it's women's basketball. I haven't watched any of your games this season. I hate to admit it, but I guess I missed out on a lot. Kicking each other in the head, throwing elbows, punches.
I mean,
you're more competitive than the guys' team. That's awesome.
That 30 seconds, I mean, right after she got kicked in the head, Dee DeHazier, maybe 10 seconds later, she gets kicked in the head in the next play on defense. And so she goes down with a concussion. Literally, we had to get all our trainers from the Columbus State staff out there because we've had 2 go down in less than 30 seconds. And I mean, both of those players are key to our minutes just because they're backup 2 guards and 3 guards, and they get threes for us. They come off the bench and they get quality points. I mean, Dee DeHazier, she's in the top 10 in the conference in 3-point shooting. And for us to have her go out in that last 30 seconds, it was a blow to us just because we didn't have her for the rest of the weekend.
Wow, that is tough. But you guys will be leaving out for North Carolina on tomorrow.
Yes.
What city, what area, and what time do you guys play?
We'll be in Hickory, North Carolina at Lenoir-Rhyne. We play Friday at 8:30 is actually the last game of the day. And I mean, it'll be a little late for us, but hey, that means more rest for us. That's what that means. We get to travel, we get to rest, and we get to, get our legs back under us because we just played 3 games in 4 days last weekend.
No, I had a just big picture overall synopsis. You got the Columbus State girls basketball hasn't been this successful since 2007. From 2007 until now, you guys have been one and done in the Peach Belt Conference. You've always made it to the tournament, but you've always been one and done. Going into this tournament this year, what rank were you?
Going into the tournament, we were ranked number 4.
Number 4. And you guys
we were ranked number 3. I'm sorry. We were 3rd seed and Georgia College was the 4th because like Young Harris, they were ranked number 2, but they got pushed down in the tournament just because they weren't they were ineligible to play.
I got you. So you guys were in the middle. You end up winning the championship, winning it overall, now becoming number 1.
Yes.
Because what we were talking about before, senior leadership or something else? Because again, you said coming into the season, you guys were ranked like 5. Why did they get it? Why did the rankings and everyone get it wrong? You guys came out number 1. Was it senior leadership? You're just better than what everyone thought?
It's not played on paper.
Basically, I mean, if you look at us on paper, you would say, "Oh, this isn't a great team just because we're young." I mean, Tay Smith didn't play a lot last year, so a lot of people they downplayed her game this year. We had a freshman point guard, Kerry Washington. It's been hard for her to stay out of foul trouble these past couple of years. So, I mean, a lot of people downplayed us just because of that. But for everyone to play their part this year and fight back, I mean, that's what got us through the tournament. It's the fact that we had the willingness to fight back. We were down, I think, we were tied with Clayton State in that game at halftime, and then we were down by 6 playing Georgia College going into the halftime Sunday. So, I mean, I think it's just our willingness to fight back that's got us this far in the tournament. And, I mean, hey, we're playing on our home court. That gave us an advantage as well.
Most definitely. Well, there you guys have it. Tournament MVP, Shatil Bradford, speaking for her Columbus State Cougars. Just a note, didn't mention Devontae Wright, men's tournament MVP for USC Aiken. Both teams will be moving on to the national tournament this weekend playing. Matter of fact, we're going to get a little bit more from Shy on the other side of the break. We'll be back in just a moment. CSU Sports Talk. And we're back. Back to CSU Sports Talk. It's your host, Derek Bailey, bringing you guys back from break. Glad to have you guys back with us. I'm in the studio now with my beautiful producer, handsome producer, Matthew Gay, and my co-host, Shatil Bradford.
I don't get a beautiful? I mean, he got beautiful. Can I get beautiful?
The name,
we
self-explanatory.
talk about this.
If we say Shatil, we already know beautiful is the middle name.
Okay, I like that better.
We already know. Before the break, guys, we wrapped up the Peach Belt men's and women's basketball tournament. On the second half, we're going to have an interview produced by the producer, Matt, with our Peach Belt women's MVP right now, Shatil.
That's it, with our co-host. We didn't just bring you in because you're the MVP of the championship-winning team.
We had her before this, guys. We had her before this.
Exactly.
Okay, y'all did. Y'all had me before. Y'all was with me in the struggle.
But if you don't mind, our first expose, we're going to go ahead and do an interview with you. Is that all right with you? Are you ready for these random questions off the fly?
Yeah, I think I can take what you give me.
We're using you for ratings right now.
That's pretty much it. Miss Shatil, MVP Bradford. That's your new nickname here in the studio. You know, it's the MVP.
I like that.
It has a little ring to it. That's it.
How are you feeling a few days removed from winning the tournament?
I feel wonderful, to be honest with you. Just the simple fact that me and my team, we brought a championship here that hasn't been done since 2001.
And as a CSU student, I'm very thankful. I'm appreciative of that. I get to brag about that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it quite a bit. How do you feel at the start? How did you feel pretty much at the start of the tournament in each game, as far as butterflies, nervousness, anticipation?
I think that first game against Flagler, I think I was just expecting them to come back powerful just because we had beat them previously in the season. I was just like, okay, they're going to come and they're going to come hard. You know, they're going to bring everything that they got just so they could get past us. And I won't say I was disappointed, but I was elated at the victory that we came out with, just because we came out ready to play on Thursday. And it was evident in the score. And then Saturday, I mean, that was just a big game just because it was Clayton State. I mean, that's like a burning rivalry. I don't know if you know, but I live actually 5 minutes from Clayton State back at home in my high school. I mean, every time I go home, people are just like, did you beat Clayton State yet? You know, has your team beat Clayton State? And I hear that all the time. And so now I can actually go home and say, yeah, we did. And we beat them in the tournament at that. And so that was a huge game. I mean, it was so much emotion just from making it past the first round, making it past the second round and beating them. I mean, we were overfilled with joy as a team. Like, I think we were just crying, dancing. Like, it was crazy for us. And then that third game, it was like we've came too far to lose now. So to get to this point on our home court, there's no better feeling than cutting down your own nets on your own court, like in front of your fans. That was probably the best feeling that I had the whole conference tournament or this season.
So there was a dramatic difference then from regular season games to the start of this tournament as far as nervousness and in anticipation. Is that right?
Definitely. I mean, there's an amount of pressure that you have. Just the regular season, you go out, okay, we have to win these games so we can get a good seeding in the tournament. But when you get to the tournament, it's like win or go home. There's no backup. There's no, if I lose, I get to play this team. No, it's win or go home. So that type of pressure. And then for me in my career to be here 4 years and never make it past the first round, it was so much pressure just to say, hey, I didn't do anything since I've been here. This is my chance. It's obtainable. Why stop here? We have to keep going.
Mm-hmm. I want to interject something. I studied sports psychology. I took a class at university previous I attended here, and I've read plenty of books on it. And one key point they always say that no matter how much the pressure rises in between different games, that you try to keep your preparation the same. And so one thing I wanted to ask you, you guys played 20-something odd games, regular season. You guys played 3 in the playoffs. Did you change your approach any? Did you change your preparation any? Most people have different things they do. People put on their favorite socks. People eat their same breakfast or lunch meal. They watch the same thing before they go to the game. They either watch film, they watch cartoons, they watch TV, they listen to rap music, whatever it is that gets them in the mode to play. They say that the best thing to do is to keep that same agenda before the game. Do you feel like you changed yours any, or did you treat it like a regular game? How'd you feel? What'd you do before the game?
I think one big thing that happened after we played Flagler on Thursday. Our coach brought me and the other two seniors in his office and asked us, hey, we've lost to Clayton State so many times since you've been here. And I just want to ask you, do you want to change the game plan? And I think the biggest thing that we came out and we said, we was like, no, we don't want to change the game plan, because the last game of the season, we didn't play well and we lost to them by 10 points. And so he was like, well, we need to do something different. And we was like, no, we just need to make shots. And that's the biggest thing. We still didn't shoot great from the field on Saturday, but we shot well enough to win. And we made clutch free throws when it counted. And so that was the only difference in our team this whole weekend. I mean, every other game was treating it like win or go home. We didn't do any different type of preparation. We just tweaked a couple of things with our plays, and we kept it going because, hey, it's worked up till now. So we need to keep working, keep doing what works.
What was your favorite actual game moment? I don't want a stereotypical answer of like cutting down the net, winning the championship with my girls. What game moment did you have as the MVP was your favorite? A crossover, a layup? I don't know if you can dunk, but what was your favorite game moment that you recall from this tournament?
I think my favorite game moment would be when we played in the championship against Georgia College. And one of my teammates, Aisha Alexander, she went up for a layup and got fouled. And it was actually, I have this thing against her, and I tell her all the time, I'm like, she can never shoot. If you ever seen her do a layup, she can never do a normal layup. Like left, right, go up with the left hand. She's left-handed, but she does everything with her right hand. So nothing she ever does is normal. And in this particular play, she did a regular layup, but she shot with her left hand. And she made it. It was an and one play in a crucial time during the game when we were down by, I think, maybe 3 or 4 points. And so for her to do that, it was ecstatic. Like our energy just rose because we were like, wow, like we're so into this game. And so I even have a picture of the whole team running over to her and picking her up from that one play. And it was just, I think that was the turning moment in the game where we were just like, we have to do this. Like it's right here.
Who was the MVP runner-up in your opinion on Columbus State?
I think MVP runner-up, I hate to say it, but she didn't get the recognition that she needed from this tournament, and it was Tay Smith, because every game she came out, the first night she had 14 points, the second night she had 24 points, and then the third night she had 15 points. And I think for her not to get any all tournament team recognition or MVP, honestly, when I was sitting there at the bench and they was about to call out MVP, I just knew it was going to be her because she had an awesome tournament. And she didn't get the recognition that she deserved because she shot the ball well. She played good defense. And I think she really deserved to be recognized for being an awesome teammate and really stepping up for us when we needed it.
You know what? I think that's a good point. That was something I saw that I didn't want to touch on. I went through the brackets. I checked out all the stats, and then I saw the all tournament teams for both championship teams. USC Aiken had a couple guys. You know what I'm saying? They were the best team, and they won it. And Columbus State championship team wins the tournament, and they have one player. And so I kind of started looking. I saw some names from Clayton State, and I want to say I saw some names from North Georgia. Then I started wondering if it was more political, and I hate to think that, politics come into sports, but it does. It does. We all know it. And so I think that they kind of rewarded players from Clayton State and North Georgia for good seasons.
And not good tournaments.
The
Exactly.
all-tournament team isn't about what you did the 24, 25, 26, X amount of games before you got here. It's about what you did in this three-day tournament. And so I felt like it was a little political, but, basketball and politics, people don't like to admit it, but they do go hand in hand.
And I think even this season, she had a great season. I mean, we were the only team in this whole conference that had 3 players make all-tournament. I made second team all-tournament. Tay Smith and Aisha Alexander made third team all conference. So, I mean, nobody gives our team credit, but we have so many knockers. And then also during this tournament, I don't think people realize Kerry Washington, she tied for a record. a Peach Belt Conference record of most defensive rebounds in a game. She had 14 against Flagler. And I don't think people noticed, but she grabs rebounds. She averages over 10 a game. And so,
Wasn't there one game where she went for 20 boards?
She had 20. That game when she had 15 defensive rebounds, that tied for Peach Belt Conference record, but she had 20 overall rebounds.
Okay.
And then she averaged 13 rebounds a game this tournament. So, I mean, do you look at that and not think, oh, well, that deserves all tournament too? So, I mean, it was a team effort this weekend. It truly was. I mean, people just don't look at the other factors that come into play, but it was definitely a team effort.
Other than putting CSU on the map here in the coming future during March Madness, putting all that aside, because that's everyone wants to go out on top, right? Could you have thought of a better way to end your college basketball career?
Honestly, no. I really think my name, as well as my team's name, we've left something here, a legacy that can't be vanished. I mean, no matter what we do from now on out, we're forever in the history books for this championship win. And that was the biggest thing for me from the beginning of the season to now. I was like, what have I done since I've been here? That's the question that I asked myself and asked my teammates is, what have we done? Have we lost every first round of the tournament? Or are we going to win the championship and say, hey, we're Peach Belt Conference champions? We've done it. And then for me to start off my freshman year and not get as much playtime as I wanted, and then slowly make my way up until this senior year and have an awesome season compared to the others. I mean, that was a great accomplishment for myself. Just my MVP award wasn't for me. It was more so for everybody that's helped me along the way, my old teammates, my present teammates, my new coaches, my past coaches. I mean, this was a collective effort to get me where I am now and to get my team here. I mean, this was it was a great moment.
Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. In your words from the MVP herself, we get to hear about the experience. And once again, can you tell the listeners at home where you guys are going to be playing at this weekend and what time again?
We play 8:30 at Hickory, North Carolina at Lenoir-Rhyne. They're the number 1 seed in the tournament, so they will be hosting. And we're actually ranked number 5 in the NCAA tournament. So, hey.
Well, we touched on men's and women's basketball. We got a little bit of time left. I don't want to make anybody feel like they're left out. So we got a couple notes, a couple other CSU sports that's doing pretty good right now, Matt.
Yeah, real quick. The baseball team is 17-7. They beat 0-10 Salem International University with a score of 9-1. The significance of that, 1,500 career wins for Columbus State University baseball. 1,500 wins.
Wow.
As a program, they're now 1,500 wins, 839 losses, and 5 ties with a winning percentage of .641 overall for the college history.
Man,
that's pretty good.
That's
right?
really
That's
impressive.
pretty good.
Men's golf. They're playing in a tournament ending today, I believe, in an 18-team field. They're ranked 11th. What I want to bring up to update us on just golf overall, they're actually doing really good. Out of 5 tourneys, they have finished 1st, 2nd, 5th, 12th, and then whatever they get this week, probably another 10 finish. So it's a top-rated, top-ranked golf team coming up in future shows. The Peach Belt Golf Tournament will be up here at Callaway Gardens. We will be covering that.
Okay.
We will have a special video on that. Hopefully it works out in their favor. Girls golf, they played 8 tourneys thus far. They average 10 to 17th when they finish, so they're not that bad. Not as good as the men's, but they're not doing that bad at all.
They still have time to improve. So,
You know, I'm really curious about baseball, man. You know, whenever you see a program that's consistently good, such as a Duke University, such as a San Antonio Spurs, you always sit and wonder what makes these guys good game in, game out, year in and year out. Because there are a lot of teams that are good a year, a lot of teams that are good 2 years, but it consistently be good over 5 years, 10-year period. There's got to be a formula or of success that got these guys winning.
I have to give credit to their coach. I mean, their baseball coach is awesome. He's always out there with the players, and he's never too good to work with one player. And I think his recruiting methods with getting new players, his recruiting classes are always consistently good. So, I mean, when you have a winning program, it helps you when you go out recruiting trying to get these top players.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I just have to give all the credit to the coach.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. That was our first inaugural show of CSU Sports TV. Speaking out from my host, co-host, Shatil Bradford, my producer, Matthew Gay. We'll see you guys next time on CSU Sports Talk. I'm Derek Bailey, signing out.
All right, guys.